Okay, hello and welcome to a Peter Draws video. When Peter asked me to come down and do a little intro for one of his videos, I told him, Peter, you already have so many characters and you just want me to come down and be another one of the crowd? Absolutely, I said. So here we are. I am thrilled to be here. Thrilled to be a part of whatever is going on here. There we go. To be here with you, to shed a little bit of my skin. That feels better. And now, for the featured content, a video of Peter drawing. Let's go. Hello, everybody. I am Peter, and I draws. Hope you're all doing well today. It's good to see you. I'm doing a series of 3 drawings today. Partly because just once I got started, I couldn't stop. But it did take me a while to get started. In fact, I drew for about 4 hours today, but it took me almost that long to get started also. It was a little bit rough. Look, I sat down this morning. Actually, when I'm saying today, it all actually happened yesterday. That's usually how it happens for these videos. I sit down, I draw, I get almost all of the drawing done in one day. I just power through, I get it done. Sometimes 2 days, right? Sometimes the drawing takes 2 days, but then it might have been 2 days ago. It's like a stage. I do the drawing, and then the next day I do the editing, and then on the final day I record the commentary, which I'm doing now, the final stage of the video. Anyways, I sat there. I was like, okay, let's do some drawing. I wanted to draw. I had the paper. I had the pen. The lights were set up. The cameras were there, ready to go. I wasn't hungry. I didn't have to go to the bathroom. I didn't have any other physical or worldly needs distracting me, right? I was ready to go. Nothing was stopping me except that I didn't know what to do, right? I guess this is what you could call artist block. And but the weird thing is, like, the frustrating thing about artist block is that there's not actually a block there, right? Like if there's ever like physical blocks in our lives, like an actual block, you can push it, right? That's the frustrating thing about calling it artist block. You can start pushing at it or doing something about it, blasting away at it, pouring acid on it, try to dissolve it, walk around it. But with artist block, it's not actually there. What do? How can you walk around something you can't see or that doesn't actually exist? So I sat there for like 4 hours, not really doing anything, just kind of fiddling away with different stuff on my desk or on my computer, I don't know. And I think it's because I had all these grand plans. Like every time I sit down to make a new video, I'm like, ooh, first of all, it would be really nice if this video was a grand slam, right? A home run. If this video, because I have a few videos that are like, have over like 1 million views. I've got like this nagging feeling in the back of my head if each new video also would get 1 million plus views. And that's a bad thing to have in the back of my head, I think. I mean, it's nice to try to make videos that are engaging and creative. And maybe those are the ones that get more views generally. But it's also a weird amount of pressure to have when you're just getting started. And I think that pressure can kind of congeal and form into artist block. So I was thinking maybe I can do this thing or that thing, and all these different little ideas that were trying to force their way into my head and begin and become the beginning of a drawing were all just getting stuck. They were becoming that bottleneck. They were becoming artist block. So eventually I realized none of this stuff matters. I just need to draw. I know I can draw. I know I can pick up that pen. I can touch the paper and I can begin. So that's what I did. And then it just started flowing. Started scribbling, started drawing, and I ended up drawing a bunch of these little blobs, right? And I ended up labeling them, and it went well. I was pretty happy with it. Maybe one day I can make a whole. I probably have a bunch of these weird nonsensical diagrams by now. Maybe one day I can fill a whole book with diagrams that don't make sense. I still really do like the idea of a diagram that doesn't make sense, because the whole purpose of a diagram usually is to make sense of something, more sense of something than it made before it was diagrammed, right? So I like that kind of that contrast. It's a little oxymoronic, right? To diagram it and it still doesn't make sense. Plus, sometimes I put like my little fake language in there, which makes even less sense, or I label it with words that don't make sense. I don't know. I just enjoy it. I like toying around with it. So I did 3 of those today. And I'm the 3 or 4 hours I spent not drawing, building up to it, I think were worth it, and paid off in the 3 or 4 hours I did spend drawing. I am in the middle of reading 3 books right now. 2 of them are physical books made out of paper and ink and a little bit of glue and maybe thread in the binding. I think that's what books are made of. One of them is an audiobook. I don't usually listen to audiobooks. I finally did re-download Audible and sign up for it. I've kind of had a love-hate relationship with Audible because I like the idea of just being able to click on an audiobook and download it, and they seem to have the biggest library. If you know of any other, because I know there's some other options, like Scribed, Google Play. I've even found that there are some audiobooks on Spotify and stuff, if you know how to search for them. And I know about that one, I can't remember what it's called now, but there's a whole library of those audiobooks people have recorded of books that are now in the public domain, right? These are all great options. But anyways, I'm trying Audible right now. And first I tried listening to The Neuromancer, which is some old kind of cyberpunk novel, but it just wasn't going well. It seemed like a pretty decent book, and it was highly reviewed. I don't even know if it is a good book or if people are just kind of nostalgic about it, but I couldn't really get through it. My mind kept wandering. So then I tried listening to another book that my cousin recommended to me called The Dictator's Handbook: Why Bad Behavior is Almost Always Good Politics. And this is not a novel, right? And this worked much better. I was very pleased with how my brain was able to not wander while listening to this. It kind of felt like me doodling again during lectures in school and stuff like that. I think maybe the fact that it's not a novel, there's not just a story, not just random details and conversations and stuff like that, but actual information and concrete ideas being presented to me gave something for my mind to actually try to latch onto as I drew. I listened to this for about 4 hours, right, while I was drawing, and it went really good. Only every now and then did I have to hit the little reverse 30 seconds button, and I enjoyed it. It's going well. That's a cool book. I would recommend it. And then also I'm reading a couple of other books about philosophy, because I feel like I've always... I know philosophy exists, right? I know some of the big names, but my knowledge of it has always been sadly lacking. So I kind of looked up a couple of intro books, right? Just to kind of dip my big toe in the water. So the 2 I'm reading right now are, first of all, The Pig That Wants to Be Eaten: 100 Experiments for the Armchair Philosopher. And that's just, of course, as it sounds, 100 little philosophy armchair thought experiments, which kind of gives you a little philosophy experiment, right? And then it kind of explains it and the philosophy behind it. Obviously, nothing very in depth, but a lot of it is. I'm only like a fourth of the way through both of these books, but it's pretty interesting so far. And a lot of it, even though it is only scratching the surface, that's what I need right now, I think, before I scratch the surface of the surface, before I dive in a little more. I think it's nice. I like it. And the other one is Think by Simon Blackburn, which is also more interesting, and it's a little bit more, slightly more developed. It's so far what I've read so far is the guy is going through Descartes' meditations and kind of explaining what he was thinking about things, and I like that so far. I've been reading that one while taking baths at night. Yes, I've started taking baths. My doctor recommended it, actually. Can't tell you why. It's personal reasons. But I don't regret it. My mom would never let me take baths very often when I was little because she was afraid, or at least this is what she said, that she was afraid that I would splash the water everywhere and splash it out onto the floor of the bathroom and cause irreversible and, not irreparable, but only repairable by way of large amounts of money, water damage, as it seeped down through the cracks and into the floorboards and through the floor and into the crawl space, and the whole house would sink down into the earth and we would be left homeless. So that's why I didn't take baths growing up. Anyways, let me know about what you think about these three drawings. They're all pretty similar. They're all pretty much the same thing. They're kind of a series of three, right? It's a trilogy of weird alien specimens labeled in some strange language, and I like it. I enjoyed doing it, just scribbling away shapes. Just shapes. All right, goodbye everyone.